Welcome everybody to the Sports House. Hey, we want to appreciate you guys for hopping on here on this wonderful Tuesday night. I know it's hot as all get out probably there in Vegas, but it's definitely nice and cool here in the lovely Central Valley. I personally, I can wish it was a little colder, but I can't complain. But hey, I want to again thank you guys for hopping on here. But first, before we get into tonight's show, let's hop into our give thanks to our sponsors. Mike, you want to take that away?
Awesome. Yeah, let's first thank our first sponsor is Caliber Graphics for getting all your nice tees, getting your hats done. They do signs and all that good stuff. It's there in Tulare, and when you go, let them know that the Sports Lounge sent you. Also, Tulare, Visalia, Hanford, number one sports fan. Go visit them right now and let them know that Sports Lounge sent you. Last but not least, the Mogul brand. We're coming out with the diamond collection of products that you guys are going to be interested in to keep you hydrated, keep you going, and you're actually going to get 50% off if you type in the promo code. We have that coming soon in the next couple of weeks. It'll be available for you. But yeah, that's all we got for our sponsors, man.
Oh no! Don't
All right.
forget, man. Don't forget. We also
Oh
have
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Brian
Brian
Martino
Martino
Construction.
construction.
Brian
Yeah.
Martino Construction right here. If you need any of your remodels or anything like that, just hit up Brian Martino at Brian Martino Construction. We'll take care of everything that you need, and appreciate to him hopping on sponsoring us. So we want to thank him for that. So yeah, that's what we got. So again, thank you all to each one of you companies and the owners. We appreciate you guys.
You're
And
welcome.
so let's thank you. Yeah. So hey, let's
Hey,
hop right into tonight's show. Let's first and foremost, we're not going to stick with our standard of going back. We're kind of going to take it back a little old school, kind of hop around different sports. And
Yes, sir.
first off,
Yes, sir.
we are going to. Obviously, one of the big things that's this week is Game One of the World Series of Major League Baseball. We've got it's been 43 years since the Yankees and Dodgers have played off. You have literally, it's actually going to be a good series. Um, when you got four of the top five players in Major League Baseball playing, especially with Otani and Judge, that's a big one. Plus, you got Mookie Betts in there and Juan Soto. And what a lot of people aren't giving recognition to is actually the postseason killer, Giancarlo Stanton, who in his 16 games he's got 36 RBIs or no 36 something like that. I was reading the stats on it just a little bit ago actually, and they said if it was set up to 162 game schedule, he would have 72 home runs with 162 RBIs for what he's done in the playoffs. I mean, so Giancarlo is doing something right in the playoffs when he's been in there, so that's been pretty impressive. So yeah, what's your guys' take from that? With the World Series happening.
Yeah, I mean, I would comment on that. I think we're seeing something that's going to be very, very special in this game. Obviously, you see who I'm going for, but at the end of the day, you're going to see two powerhouses. They both got power sticks. It's going to be interesting because the interesting part is you just don't have the people, the guys that you mentioned, right? You also got Edmund, who has been showing up in the postseason. You have Kiki Hernandez, who's been showing up in the postseason. You got guys that are utility guys, and then you have your Otanis, and then Betts, and then Freemans, and those guys that come on later in the batting order, and the way that they have them is very interesting. So I think offensively, we have a slight edge on that. Pitching wise, they have really Yankees have really good pitching, but I think that the Dodgers have played. I mean, they have 33 scoreless innings in the postseason that had a record, and so that bullpen has been showing up. We have two good guys, maybe a third guy, but Yankee starters been doing really phenomenal. So I mean, you got your highs and your lows on that, but it's going to take a lot to beat. You're gonna have to score a lot of points. I think you're gonna see a lot of points being scored in all of these games. I don't think any of these games will be, um, you know, 1 or 2 points and you're winning the game. You're gonna see a 5+ win from either team, and I think I'm gonna go with the Dodgers in 6.
Man, what do you got, Dupree?
I say the Dodgers and six seems like a good thing. They play really well, and so at the Yankees. For being 42 years, it's about to be history when it comes to that. They're gonna fill each stadium. Is LA the first for home or is the Yankees?
It's Dodgers at home. So it's
Yeah.
2-3-2. So two at LA, three in New York, and then two back in LA.
All right. So it's gonna be one big one for LA then, because it's got to be huge because they haven't had like this in a while.
You know, the big thing you got Jack Flaherty on the mound for Game 1 for the Dodgers. That's going to be if you guys remember in Game 5 of the LCS, he got shelled. And then they're also going to be starting Yamamoto for Game 2 for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the big thing, though, is the Yankees haven't announced who their starters are going to be as of yet. And so that's going to be interesting to see what they do. I know Nestor Cortez has been injured since the 18th of September. And with that going on, he's dealing with a left flexor issue in his throwing arm. And so that right there is one of the big keys. But I don't think the Dodgers are going to win it. I just don't.
Of course you don't. You've been saying the Dodgers are going to lose since the Padres.
Hey, and I'm
they're
still
still
going to
here.
say it.
wrong, and you've been wrong every time. So
Hey, that's all right. That's all right. I can handle being wrong as long as I'm not wrong on this one. No, I really do think there's a strong possibility that we're going to see 7 games.
that would be crazy.
I mean,
Hey,
it does help ticket sales. Yeah, 7 games.
This probably be the biggest viewing in World Series history. Probably Yankee fans versus Dodger fans. That's probably going to be one of the biggest
I mean, plus you got Ohtani in the mix. With the world. I mean,
with the Japanese. I mean, you got a lot. You got just a lot of different fans all around the world that are going to be watching. That's going to be amazing for baseball.
I'm going to enjoy it. I don't. To me, I love baseball. So yeah, Friday night I will be definitely watching Game 1. So it's going to be pretty good. I do have the Yankees winning it in 7. Is what I have. But no matter what, I will say this.
Here it comes, Debris.
Here we go.
Here's what I'm going to say. It has not been held out. Ohtani has been working on towards pitching. So the big question is if Game 7 on the line, do you try to make Shohei Ohtani pitch?
That would be dope.
I don't see why they wouldn't unless he proves us wrong in Game 1 or 2 that he shouldn't be pitching.
I mean, we're lacking on starters. So, I mean,
when it comes to a team comparison, for runs scored, the Dodgers were second in baseball. Yankees were third. So that's one of the big things. I think you're going to see huge scoring games.
agreed.
But I still do. I want the Yankees. I mean, I don't want the Yankees to win. Trust me, if I had a choice, give me a strike. Just so I don't have to see either one of these teams play in the World Series. But if I had to choose one or the other, I'm going to say the Yankees in 7. Because I know very well, no matter what, we're going to hear Dodgers fans constantly saying, "We made it again." I'm just like, I don't care. Y'all have what? How many World Series? Oh, wait, that's right. None. Haven't won a World Series since 1988.
What are you
Have made it.
about?
Didn't they win last year? No, not last year.
2020 don't count, guys. COVID does not count.
He's going to say that every time.
They still got there. Winning is winning.
No, when no other team, when the majority of the teams are playing their minor leaguers, but yet the Dodgers were just like, "Yo, guys, we can sit there. Let's get everybody to play. Let's put the superstars against the minor leaguers, and that's what it is." And that's exactly what happened in 2020. So I'm going to stop on that one. But
He
yeah,
said,
Kobe
"Hey,
year does not.
Dupree, he said that about the Lakers too. So don't even trip,
I
bro."
know. No, I already know he
It's
did.
the
I
truth.
already
It's
know
the
he
truth.
did.
It's the freaking truth, you guys. Come
Oh,
on, give me a break.
You won't, you won't
It's
even give
freaking
Melo his
pathetic.
one championship. You won't give Melo his one championship, even though he struck out with
No,
Iverson and the Nuggets.
no, I
Jesus
don't.
Christ.
I will not give
That's
them the
funny.
credit. 2020. They played 60 games. Also, guys, come on, give me a break.
Even better. Everybody was more fresh.
No, everybody sat out. That was the biggest issue. But I mean, I can go on that all day long.
Yeah, let's move on.
But let's move on. Let's go. Actually, we're going to hop into the to college football with the rankings. We had some big games over the weekend. Obviously, we had number 1 Texas versus number 5 at the time, Georgia, and Georgia just flat out manhandled Texas. They just showed, Texas has
Texas haven't played nobody though.
exactly. They played Michigan at the time when they were ranked 10th. I mean, well, no, they played Oklahoma. They knocked Oklahoma out, but Oklahoma got killed also. Oklahoma's been, had been a top 25 team. But
Yeah.
but yeah, Texas hasn't had no competition, realistically. When you look at Georgia's schedule, yeah, they lost to Alabama. They beat they killed Clemson in week 1, and obviously beat Texas this last weekend. They have to play Florida, and I'm going to say this, and I don't care what anyone says. Florida has, if you actually do your due diligence and do your research, Florida has the toughest schedule in all of college football, and they're 4-3.
And they've been playing really well, actually.
Yeah.
They have, so you got a team that's 4-3. They played against literally. So this is who they played. They've had ranked teams. This is just the ranked teams. They played Miami in week 1. They had Tennessee. They've had Georgia. They have Georgia this weekend. They play Texas after that, play LSU after that, and then they play Ole Miss. And don't forget, they also play Florida State. Yeah.
That's a gauntlet, man. That's crazy. I feel bad for Florida, bro.
And don't get me wrong.
It's going to make them better as a program. And they're 4-3, you said?
Yeah, they're 4-3. So they lost.
Damn.
Yeah.
Bro.
They played Kentucky this last weekend, which they beat up by 28. Kentucky, you never know which one's going to show up. And Florida State, obviously, they started the season ranked 10th in the nation, and I don't think they realize that they play on Saturdays anymore because they're 1-6. I mean, that's piss poor in my opinion.
Jeez.
Yeah, you start the season ranked 10th, and it's that bad. I mean, that coach should have been fired. That's a disgrace to Bobby Bowden. That's all I got to say. That coach needs to be fired.
For sure. I agree.
Billy Napier, at Florida, a lot of people are speculating. They're saying if he doesn't finish above 500, he's probably going to get fired after this season. I don't think he should. I think they should give him another year. I really do. And I don't say that very often about coaches, but when it comes to that schedule, I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due. So that's my thing. We actually have.
Well, we'll wait for that comment.
We'll wait for that one right there. But no. So another big game that happened over the weekend, of course, was the beloved Tennessee Volunteers beat freaking Bama, as I will always say and continue to say. Screw Bama. Bama is now out of the top 10 there. They dropped, but Tennessee moved up to 7th. So the way we have it right now, in the top 10, we've got Oregon, Georgia, Penn State, Ohio State, Texas, Miami, Tennessee, LSU, Clemson, and then Iowa State.
Who was number 1? I didn't hear that one loud and clear.
Unfortunately, it's the team that has played nobody except Ohio State.
Oh my gosh, here we go again.
Okay, let's go ahead and talk about who has Oregon played. They played Idaho. They played Boise State. They played Oregon State, UCLA, Michigan State, And then, like I said, they just barely squeaked by and they beat Ohio State, and then they play Purdue. And then this weekend they play Illinois. Who have they played? That's the same thing as Texas. That is ridiculous.
And barely
They
beat
fit-
Ohio.
Yeah, barely beat Ohio State.
Ohio.
They beat Ohio State. They beat them by one.
Mhm.
They do play Michigan. Like I said, I'll give Michigan a little bit of credit because they were in the top 25 beginning of the season just until last weekend. But then they have Maryland, Wisconsin, and Washington. I'm sorry, that is pathetic schedule. You should not be ranked number one with that schedule. That is just because you're beating them, and you're not even beating them bad. The only reason they have that ranking is because they beat Ohio State, which was by 1 point. It's pathetic. It really is. The only blowout games they had, they beat Purdue 35-0, but that's Purdue. But there's no key wins for that. Not for me. Like I said, Georgia's done some things with their schedule. Penn State, realistically, is the same thing. They're 6-0. They played West Virginia, Bowling Green, Kent State, Illinois, UCLA, USC. I mean, they don't play anybody.
School anyway.
Who? Penn State?
They're a better basketball school than they are a football school.
That's up for debate on that one. Texas, obviously, we've talked about their schedule. Now, here's the big one. University of Miami. I want to sit there and say this. I sit there and said Oregon's schedule was horrible. Bro, this is Miami's schedule. Florida A&M, Ball State, South Florida, Virginia Tech, Cal, which they barely beat, Louisville, which they barely beat, Florida State, Duke, Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, and Syracuse. What in the... Yeah. That is a run. Like, here you go. We're just going to go ahead and give you, you've sucked for so long. You used to be great in the 90s, but let's put you back in the college playoffs because now we have 12 teams.
Let's just give you the playoffs. -1
Yeah.
team.
Tennessee, like I said, they've got the one loss. I mean, they have the win against Oklahoma. They got the win against Alabama. For me, their key to being locked in is when they play Georgia. They beat a ranked NC State. They beat a ranked Oklahoma. Arkansas is right there. Actually, they are now. They're on the brink. No, they dropped actually lower. But there's, to me, they don't even have the toughest. And that's not really a difficult schedule. They just got those big games against Bama, Georgia. Florida is a tough game for them. LSU, same thing. They play Ole Miss. So they had USC, Nicholls, South Carolina, UCLA, South Alabama. Then they had Ole Miss, Arkansas. Then they're going to play a ranked A&M, Alabama, and then Florida, Vanderbilt, and then Oklahoma again. So even LSU has a tough schedule. Like I said, Oklahoma was ranked at 1 point this year. They've had some tough losses. Vandy is in the top 25. Alabama, obviously Texas A&M. So that's not a simple schedule either. But the other one in the top 10 that kind of is pathetic to me is Iowa State. They've played North Dakota, Iowa, Arkansas State, Houston, Baylor, West Virginia, UCF. Now they have Texas Tech, Kansas, Cincinnati, Utah, and Kansas State. That is pathetic also.
Yeah.
As of right now, obviously, it's going to be the conference winners that gets the top 4 seeds. And then it's going to be the best rankings from there that's going to end up in the other spots within the top 12. Now, one that's not in there that I'm going to mention is BYU. They're saying BYU is going to slide in there, probably because they're undefeated as of right now. But to me, it's the same thing. They aren't playing anybody. The only ranked opponent they have was Kansas State. They don't have any other ranked opponents.
That's the beautiful part about this playoff run. It's just like March Madness. Anything can happen.
Yeah, but to me, it's like when it comes to the rankings, because the rankings are given off of, they're obviously off of votes within a polling system. And for me, yeah, Bama's 5-2, and I have no problem saying screw Bama because I'll still say screw Bama. But they've got Georgia. They beat Georgia, but they lost to Tennessee. They've got Mizzou, LSU, and then they'll finish out against Mercer, Oklahoma, and Auburn. I don't know. The top 12 is going to be difficult, when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I personally do see Iowa State having a run in because they don't play against anyone unless if they lose to Kansas State at the end of the season. Notre Dame, I think that might be able to squeak in there. They've got some. The key for them is they have big wins against A&M, Louisville. But the one that I'm going to be impressed in, and I have no problem saying this right here, is y'all got to pay attention not only to this weekend when they play against Navy, who's in the top 25. Navy, guys, 6-0, Navy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. There's another one. A couple weeks after that, they play against it right now, who currently is the 7-0 Army team. So both the Army and the Navy
are undefeated teams.
To me, that's just nuts.
Is that a first for them?
Actually, for them to go this far for both teams, yes, it is. It's since like the 60s. I want to say it's been like 65, 66 years, something like that. It's been ridiculous. But now here, the big thing that a lot of people you have to do one thing only against Army. Figure out how to stop the run. And I'm going to say this. So Bryson Daly is the starting quarterback for the University of Army. They are 7-0. I'm going to ask you guys, we're going to play a guessing game. How many passing attempts do you think Bryson Daly has made on the season?
78.
Dupree, what do you got?
60.
How many? You both are over. He has only attempted 47 passes. As a team, they've only attempted 56 as a team on the season.
That's crazy.
I mean,
yeah,
bro, what was it? Just a couple weeks ago, someone in the NFL attempted 55. I think it was in a game.
Yeah.
But Bryson Daly also has 138 carries with 909 yards rushing. He has 19 touchdowns. He had 5 this last game. So all you got to do against Army is stop the run. That's all you got to do because they can't pass the freaking ball.
Yeah.
Let's
move on.
But yeah, let's go on obviously to the next thing, big one is the NFL. And this is not going to be talked about. We're going to get to our top 5, here towards the end of the show. But one of the things we want to talk about actually is we mentioned it.
Can we start off with the, we got a couple more weeks to the trade deadline. Obviously, some teams are trying to make that push for the trade deadline. And we actually have a question here. Throw it up on the screen. Go ahead, Mark.
It says, I have a theory for the Raiders, Max Crosby. If the Raiders continue losing games before the trade line in week 9, there's a high chance that they'll trade Max Crosby to the Eagles. I will say this.
There's actually 3 on the 3 that Howie has spoke that he would trade. They want a first rounder and a second rounder. Or two first rounders for Max Crosby, Garrett, Myles Garrett, and there was a third guy at the top of my head. I can't remember. I was looking up the research earlier.
Micah?
Micah Parsons. Yeah. So those are the 3 guys that they want to go after, willing to give up, first rounders and second rounders for them. I think that's kind of crazy, but I mean, when you're dealing with guys like Max Crosby, you're dealing with guys like Micah Parsons, why not,
Yeah. The big thing that a lot of people don't realize is Max Crosby is under contract. He has a couple seasons left. Right. So you're not just getting him, he's a free agent after this year. Max Crosby has this year's contract. He does have a potential out, but he's still signed actually all the way till 2027.
Max Crosby's
So
contract.
yeah, Max Crosby has a potential out after this season, but
Opt out.
he can't. So he can opt out if he chooses to stay. He can stay on that contract, but he becomes a free, unrestricted free agent in 2027.
And Micah's done this year.
Micah's done this year. You know,
And it
so
looks,
that's what's.
they already and Dallas already paid.
Yeah, they ain't got the money.
You got buttload of money to CD Lamb and Dak,
Dak.
right? So
Yeah.
so where does he fit in on top of? You still got to pay. Who is it? Diggs. You still got to pay for Bland. You still got to pay for, Ferguson's looking for a payday. They already paid the linemen. So I mean,
Right.
offensive linemen. So I mean, how much money do they really have to give Micah now if he wants to get that bag? So it's going to come down to if he wants to win or get a bag.
Right. So now, as for real quick with Myles Garrett, he actually is signed. He has a longer contract, so he has a potential out after this year. But the key is, so his 2024 contract was fully guaranteed as of March 16th. So he's fully guaranteed. But you got 2025 is an option bonus, 26 is an option bonus, and then 27 through 30 can be voided 23 days before the start of the 27 year. So you're talking, and so those option years that they're talking about, you have 18.9 million for next season as an option, but his contract's only 1.25.
Yeah.
So all his money is all option, incentive type thing. And that's going to be key. I guarantee it. If he gets traded, he's going to want that turned into guaranteed money.
Yeah. So our best luck is just to go after Micah.
Mm-hmm.
I think personally, I don't trade anybody. I don't.
Or trade anything.
I don't. I don't trade anything. I don't trade no picks, no nothing.
And
I straight up. I wait.
I
just wait. Me personally, for the Eagles, I wait. So I'm sorry. So Dallas does have a club option. They have a club option for next year. So he can end up saying, because he's got a $21 million club option for next season. So that's not his choice. That is strictly if Dallas says, hey, but they're going to be so far over the cap, they won't have the money for it.
They won't have the money.
Right.
I'm telling you right now, they're not going to have the money.
There's no way.
So they're going to have to find a way to find someone that's going to.
Yeah, you got to remember, like, they have other guys to pay for. It's not just Micah. You know what I mean?
Right.
How are they going to pay everybody else on defense?
Bro, they ain't paying anybody. That's the problem.
That's why everybody
this year's contract. Yeah.
Besides CeeDee Lamb and Dak.
I mean, it's absolutely absurd. I mean, you still have DeMarcus Lawrence, who's on the IR. He's got a cap hit of 20.45 million. Brandon Cooks, who's at 10 million. I mean, you got guys that are not even playing with the stinking team that they're still paying for.
Yeah.
So that, to me, it's like you got to find a way. If it's me, if I'm the Detroit Lions, I'm calling up the Raiders and I'm saying, yo, look, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you my first round pick and Hendon Hooker for Max Crosby, and maybe toss in a future third.
As lucrative that may sound, that's no longer an option now that Tom Brady has so much say. He already has his eye. They said he already has a quarterback already picked out for that team.
So he's just basically accepting, I'm going to suck this year.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And that's why Max Crosby said in the locker room about, I'm not here for a rebuild. I'm here to win. So whatever that means to you guys, that means to you guys. But I'm not going to stay here for a rebuild. I want to win now.
But they're not going
to
win now. There's no way they won now.
I know, but Raiders and the Patriots are both on a rebuild
Yeah.
rebuild year. So now they're talking about Jared Mayo might be on the hot seat.
Well, that's because of Bill Belichick's comments.
That's crazy.
It's like how you have a rookie head coach, and it's like, how are you supposed to blame him for having, nobody wants to give him credit for the fact being that they got, oh, that's right, they don't have anybody at quarterback. They wasted it on Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's we're gonna see. The one thing that the Raiders have done recently, they did just sign Desmond Ritter from the practice squad of whatever freaking team he was on. I mean, he was a top 10 pick. Y'all gotta remember, he was a top 10 pick, and he didn't do horrible in Atlanta. But
Right.
when you don't have people to throw to, now all of a sudden they're starting to put people there, and they're doing things now. So I don't think they gave Ritter the chance.
Let's hit this question.
For the Chiefs and Niners, Patrick Mahomes lost some of his best players, and he still's winning games. Can anyone beat the Chiefs? How? Yes, people can beat the Chiefs. All you have to do is make sure you injure the refs.
Like I keep saying it, and I'll say it again. You play the refs,
Good question.
and you
That's a
play
good
the
question.
dang team. Every
Yeah.
game, you play a
Yeah.
team.
So that's actually a really good question. As for the Chiefs and the Niners, Patrick Mahomes lost some of his best players, which we all know we're going to be talking about injuries in just a moment. He's still winning games, which is what me and Mark was talking about earlier. Can anyone beat the Chiefs now? Two things. The first thing that I would answer that question would be to beat the Chiefs is like beating the Patriots. You have to just outscore them. You have to throw touchdowns. You can't kick field goals. You just have to score touchdowns. And then number two, they have Andy Reid, which is a mastermind. And me and Mark were talking about this earlier. It's hard to beat Andy Reid and Mike Tomlin. And the crazy part is that Mike Tomlin has been winning with scrubs since Ben Roethlisberger has been gone.
Yep.
He just knows how to win. Same thing with Andy Reid. They don't have anybody, and they know how to win. The way you beat them, though, as you've seen in the Super Bowl with the Eagles and the Chiefs, is it has to be a shootout. You have to score more, and your defense has to put containment on him. Not pressure, containment. There's a difference. Now, if you put pressure on him, you're going to get some flags. But if you can contain the man, keep him in that box, have a little bit of fear, right? He'll eventually do things that he's not supposed to do, that are not characteristics, and you can get him off the field and score more points. But you just got to score. You can't kick field goals. That's where the Niners lost the Super Bowl. They kicked field goals and they didn't score touchdowns.
Yep. Kansas City is. Yeah, so Kansas City is without Juju, without Rasheed Rice, without Hollywood Brown. Obviously, Isaac Pacheco is out. So that's just on the that's on the offensive side. They don't have a lot of injuries per se, like on the defense. I mean, not superstar type things, but Kelsey has to perform. I can see them going after one person that, kind of reflecting on the trade market. Cooper Kupp is, the Rams are talking about, trading away Cooper Kupp. My boy Puka Nacua is coming back, expected to, possibly be back this week. But I can see them, trading Cooper Kupp. He's not the future anymore. But could you imagine Kansas City with a Cooper Kupp on that team plus Kelsey?
They're going to end up in the same boat. What are you talking about? He gets injured.
Good point. Good point.
I mean, there's so many other wide receivers
they'll make Cooper a blocker. They'll make Cooper a block when ways. They're not going to play. They're not going to play him over Kelsey. They're not going to do it.
No, they aren't going to use him. The problem that they're having is, I mean, Xavier Worthy is doing really well. He was the first round pick actually out of Fresno. They're using McCole Hardman and Sky Moore. Plus, you got Justin Watson.
Hardman's been playing well too on kick returns as well.
Yeah. So it's not like they've got they don't have a lot of big names. That's the catch. There's not a lot of big names on that wide receiver core. You don't need big names. I mean, we saw it with he made Patrick Mahomes and the refs made those wide receivers, are making those wide receivers, just like Tom Brady and deflating the footballs made all his wide receivers.
Yeah,
very true.
Yeah, good point.
So that's the big thing. You got guys. Don't get me wrong. Patrick Mahomes, yes, he's a great quarterback. I wish that they would treat him, when he becomes a runner, they need to go ahead and treat him as if he's a runner, just like they do every other quarterback, and stop throwing flags just because the guy is getting close. I was actually watching a video earlier that they were talking about possibly the fake that they do, that he does, like he'll kind of shuffle it out like he's going to step out, but then he keeps going. It's just like the slide that they had in college that Kenny Pickett did when he was back in college. He did the fake slide. All of a sudden, he ended up basically standing right back up and taking off like another 35 yards. Of course, when people give themselves up, you can't hit the quarterback anymore. And that's what they're trying to say. And the only people that are getting away with it is Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, they need to change that rule. There has to be a way where, because he's doing a lot of those fakes. And I mean, the only other thing is you're going to have to take a penalty. Smash him so hard that he's not going to want to do that again.
Oh, you saw him. He straight trucked that dude this weekend.
Yeah.
On that, it's like, hold up.
But you can't hit him though. You can't hit him.
You can't hit him. He can hit you like that, but you can't hit him. No, I want to see someone. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I wish Ray Lewis was still in the league. I would love to see Ray Lewis hit that fool so hard. Just one time.
Yeah. He wouldn't run ever again if there was a Ray Lewis back in the league. If there was somebody just like that, he wouldn't run again.
Yeah, he would never run again because Ray Lewis would make sure of that. Here's another one.
Yeah,
for you guys. Here's another
one. Who is the best running back, Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley, even when they face each other on week 13?
Can I let me add this? I want to add this before you answer this question. I don't know if you guys seen the clip of Saquon Barkley. He's going back home, right? You guys know the story. He's going back to New York. People are burning his jersey. The dude ends up with 176 yards rushing in that game. Dude completely smashes that game. But the most proud moment that I've ever had, or one of the most proud top 5 moments that I've ever had, being a Philadelphia Eagles, what he said on the sidelines with Nick Sirianni. Did you guys watch that clip?
Nuh-uh.
Okay, so Nick Sirianni goes and sits next to him and says, "You need 13 yards to have a career high in this game. We can put you in there and give it to you. I'll give it to you. We could do it." He goes, "But if you guys don't score, I'm taking you guys out. I want to take out all the starters, so it's just going to be you in there to get your 13 yards, and then I'm taking you out." Then he goes, "Nah, let the young boys eat." He goes, "Are you sure? Like, I could put you in there." "Nah, just let the young boys eat. It's cool." That was the most selfless thing that I've ever heard from somebody, because we've been struggling with all these divas wanting the football. Antonio Brown, even my own guy, AJ Brown. We talk about, Ayuk's temperament. We talk about CeeDee Lamb not happy. We talk about all these guys feeding them the ball. And in that moment right there was one of the proud moments. And you can ask anybody in my circle. I've been watching that clip like 30 times, bro. I'm so proud of who he is and so selfless. Regardless of how this answer is going to be, this question is going to be answered, I am so proud that he's a Philadelphia Eagle. Not only that, in the press conference about the booing and about all that, he said, "They had a chance to keep me. They told me to shop around. I'm home now, and my team got the W, and that's all I'm worried about. I don't care about nothing else. That's what he said in the press conference as well, post game. So I just want to put that out there. That was like amazing, regardless of how you guys answer this question. That was dope, man. I wanted to share that proud moment, man, because we don't hear that enough, and I think we need to in the league be more selfless when it comes to let's win football games.
Yeah. Dupree, who do you think? Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley. Your opinion?
If we go off athletic wise, I'll go on Barkley. When it comes to just, like getting over and just powering through people, you gotta go Derrick Henry. He's been running through everybody like it's nobody's business, and last game he did it as well. Like
So
they only
let me
stopped
cut
him
you
on the
off.
end
Let
of
me
the
cut
route.
you. I'm sorry. Let me cut you off real quick. Let's answer this question like this. All right, we're gonna answer it
Okay.
like this. Okay, so you have to get a running back, right? You get a
Right.
chance to pick up one of these running backs. Which
Okay.
running back are you picking up? Are you picking up Derrick Henry or are you picking up Saquon Barkley? You're a Charger fan, right?
Right.
You need a running back. You can have either or. It's your choice. Who are you choosing? Derrick Henry or you're choosing Saquon Barkley? And why are you choosing them?
Right. If I had to choose, I'm picking Derrick Henry because he just needed a team just so he can have anybody run over. And with having a great line, he's able to get through right off the back.
Okay, Mark, Packer fan, right? You're on Packers, right? Who are you choosing?
Mm-hmm. See, I look at, I just don't look at the running ability. I look at what can my quarterback do? What is he expected to do? When you get to a certain team, Derrick Henry cannot catch a ball. He has 9 targets, 7 receptions. So that's how little they throw him. It's like either he's running the ball because he's got 134 carries, close to 1,000 yards in less than, he's averaging 124.7 yards a game. So yeah, if I have to look at my quarterback. So as a Packer fan, I personally would take Saquon Barkley. So I have to look at the whole picture. I look at what type of schemes are we a ground and pound type running back. When you got a guy, here's the catch. Baltimore Ravens have Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, both great runners. I mean, Derrick Henry's got, like I said, it's close to 900 yards already. Lamar's got 455 yards rushing.
Right.
Your quarterback is rushing 65 yards a game.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is figure out how to stop the run. Don't get me wrong. Lamar can throw the ball. He's averaging 260 yards a game, 9 yards a completion. But your main thing is if you can focus on, if I can stack the box, I can stop the run, and now I got to worry about just the passing.
True.
You take out Derrick Henry out of the game. So if as a Packers fan, I have Jordan Love. I need a person that, I can run the ball, which I can run the ball with Saquon Barkley, but I need a guy also, if I cannot protect him, I can do a check down pass. Correct. I'm taking Saquon Barkley. So as a Packer fan, I'm taking Saquon.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm looking at both aspects. What does my team need as a quarterback?
Yeah.
Now I can say this now looking out from the outside and in as, looking at the Chargers perspective. I think Saquon Barkley would be better with the Chargers than Derrick Henry because you got to remember, Justin Herbert is just like Jordan Love. Look how successful Justin Herbert was with Austin Eckler. A lot of his yards were always coming from, he was a receiving back. Christian McCaffrey is a receiving back. He can catch the ball. That's the catch. You have to look at who your quarterback is. Who am I running? What do I have? If I have a team that can spread the offense, give me a solid running back. Me personally, if I'm Kansas City, if I'm the Chiefs, team that I can't stand, I'm taking Derrick Henry. I need a ground and pound because I need something because I have such a horrible offense that I need to get my wide receivers open more. The problem is they don't have, the Chiefs don't have a running back. realistically. Isaac Pacheco is out.
Right.
So that team needs a Derrick Henry style running back.
Yeah.
So that's where you have to look at both aspects. What does my team need? So who can you say who the best running back is? I don't think you can say. In my personal opinion, when it comes to running backs themselves, there's no doubt in my mind those two are probably 1 and 2. I mean, for sure, they're both of them in the top 5.
Yeah, they're both 1 and 2. I think Derrick
Right.
Henry is number 1 by very little. And Saquon is like right on his butt cheeks.
You know, that's just my thing. That's why, like I said, I look at everything.
So what do you see? So what do you? So to end the question would be: they face each other in Week 13. How do you see that going for them as running backs?
I think
who has the bigger game, or should I say, who has the bigger game in that game? Is it going to be Derrick Henry or Saquon? Okay. So who do you got? Who do you got? Who do you got, Dupree?
I got Derrick having the better game. I feel like
against the Eagles.
I feel like the Ravens will have the better defense when it comes to it for them.
You think the Ravens have a better defensive front?
You got to look at the front line in that aspect. In my personal opinion, I think the Eagles have a better front line, and as long as you can contain and keep both Lamar and Derrick Henry from hitting that edge, that's the key.
That's where it's at. It's the edge. Yeah. That would be a different conversation. But Dupree just said he's a ground and pound, kind of similar to what LeGarrette Blount, straight up north and south. Frank Gore, north and south. So if you're going north and south, you don't have to worry about east and west, right? So if we stack the box or we don't stack the box, we keep one rushing or whatever we do with Nakobe Dean, right?
Right.
We've been doing little schemes like that, filling the A gaps. I honestly think that, Saquon can have the better game, not only because of his ability to run, but his ability to catch the football behind screens, things like that. But yeah, go ahead, Dupree. Finish your statement though.
That is the one thing he has up on him is he can catch more shots when it comes to it. But I still feel that ground pound for Derrick Henry is gonna be the main thing. He doesn't get stopped like after the run once he gets the catch or when he's even going. Once he gets off that one spot, he's gone, and no one gets him down until they get him out of bounds, as you saw last game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good matchup. Be a good matchup. Go ahead, Mark.
So yeah, I agree with the matchup. Like I said, I think that they'll be able to. I don't think you're going to see the 124-yard game for Derrick Henry. I think he's going to be. I honestly don't think he's going to break 100. I'm saying it right here. I don't think he's going to break 100. I think you're going to see Saquon hit his 100 because Saquon is averaging 110 a game.
Right.
Yeah.
Now Saquon has had his bye week. So, but yeah, so he's averaging 110. I mean, so you got the top two running backs in the game.
So the Ravens haven't had a bye.
No.
Oh, okay. And Saquon is right there.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Once he hits that bye week, it's going to change.
Yeah.
So here's the catch. So if we put in the average amount of yards for Saquon, adding the 109, that would put him at 767 yards. He would be behind Derrick Henry by 100 yards. That's it. But like I said, when you go and you look at those other things, you shut down the run because when it comes to receiving, guess what, y'all? Saquon Barkley, he knows how to catch the ball. And that's what a lot of people are not giving him credit. He has 16 receptions for 103 yards. It's not, it's not a lot, but here's the other catch. They don't have to throw to him. You have guys like A.J. Brown. You have the Devontae Smiths, that are your wide receivers. I can throw the deep ball. Hey, I need you've got great tight, you got a really good tight end in Dallas Goedert. So Saquon Barkley is always option 4 every time.
Yeah.
He's the fourth or fifth read. So that to me, that just shows you Derrick Henry is not a read option whatsoever. I mean, but he cannot catch a ball either.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing that I got from that.
Yeah.
We have one more question actually. There we go. As for the Lions, quarterback Jared Goff was being pressured by the Vikings defense, and he didn't flinch once when he was throwing the ball. Is he for real?
That's a tough question to answer, man, because I've been trying to figure that man out since the Rams, man. If he's for real or not.
I think he's found his way now.
I'll let you guys take this one. I don't know.
I'm going to take this one. I'm going to take this one solely, and I'm going to say this. The Lions have played against the Rams, Bucks, Cardinals, Seahawks, Cowboys, and Vikings. Is he going to see some pressure? Yeah, the Cowboys didn't have Micah Parsons. They actually had a couple big injuries. Seahawks don't have a defensive front really. Cardinals definitely don't have a defensive front. The only game they lost was against Tampa, which actually has a pretty decent front. And then the Rams, I mean, same thing. They don't have anyone realistically. So you've got the Vikings and the Bucks are the two teams that he had to play against the defensive front. And guess what? He lost one of them and he squeaked by with a game-winning field goal in the other one. Do I think Jared Goff is the real deal? I think Jared Goff is not afraid to get hit. Because at the end of the day, the man knows he's getting paid. That's what it comes down to. He hasn't played against a defense where he has to worry about, like, crap, this is what I got coming at me. He plays against the Titans this weekend. And then he plays against the Packers. The key for me is when he plays against the Packers. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Packer fan. I'm saying this because he ain't going to have to worry about being hit against Green Bay. He's going to have to worry about the secondary. Who do the Rams have in the secondary? Nobody. Tampa Bay, who do they have in the secondary?
Nobody.
They've got a pretty they got a couple decent guys. Decent guys.
Nobody.
That's a decent. I didn't say great. Decent.
You gave decent at least.
Okay, decent.
Arizona. The Cardinals secondary is realistically nobody. Seahawks secondary, nobody. Cowboys secondary, everybody was injured on the Cowboys secondary. Vikings secondary. Vikings don't have a great secondary, but they have a pretty good defensive line. So that's where they got the pressure at.
Yeah.
That's the big factor for that. If you have one or the other, you're going to be able to put some pressure on them, finding a way, that's what they got to have. And the other thing that the Vikings have is the Vikings actually have a bunch of no-name linebackers that have no problem playing hard. You got the kid out of Cincinnati, Ivan Pace Jr., really good. They do have Theo Jackson. You've got Harrison Smith, who's still there around in the league. You've got Shaquille Griffin. You got Stephon Gilmore. That Viking secondary is not bad. I mean, I put him in the top 15. So that's the key. You can sit there and you can have, as long as you get pressure on him, it's going to be a close game. And that's what happened. He did have a great game. He went 22 of 25. You did not see, but the big thing is they could not stop Amon St. Brown. 8 catches for 112 yards. But then on top of that, what are we going to do? Am I going to have to pass the ball? No. They had Jahmyr Gibbs, who rushed for 15 carries, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So that's the key. They have a spread offense. And David Montgomery, guys, wasn't even in the mix on that. He only had 31 rushing yards with 9 carries. So that's the big catch. And also Sam Laporta wasn't even really playing. He had 1 catch the entire game. 1. Jameson Williams went out. He's out for quite a while now. So that's going to be the thing. The key that they're going to have to worry about is making sure Jared Goff stops fumbling the freaking football. Stop fumbling. He had 2 fumbles this weekend. He lost one of them. On the season right now, he's got 4 interceptions, 10 touchdowns. That's not a great ratio, but it's not horrible.
Right.
But so do I think he's a real deal? Man, I don't. I just think he really has a spread offense that he has options for running and passing.
Yeah, he does enough to win the ball game. And he's like Brock Purdy.
Exactly. And that's all he's got to be. He's just got to do enough to win the ball game. And they're showing that they can do. The biggest factor for me for Detroit is they're 2-1 at home, but
no Hutchinson is going to be my biggest thing. What are you going to how are you going to replace that pressure?
Oh, dude. That's what's going to be tough.
Because after a while, you're going to figure it out, right? Maybe.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, you're not going to. I mean, Cowboys are not going to figure that out. I mean, but we'll see. But anyways, I want to share a moment. We just missed the moment. I missed the moment because I was on here with you guys. I know Mark really don't give a damn about this moment, but I do. If you're a basketball fan, if you're a father, it was a big moment. Bronny and LeBron James made history by becoming the first father and son duo to share the court just a while ago. So that was a huge moment for a father and son to be playing basketball together.
I don't care how big of a moment that is. Kids shouldn't be in the NBA. I got no problem saying it.
Again, it was a proud father moment. So I'll take that.
Did you see their commercial today too?
Yeah, that was with the Fruity
Pebbles. The cereal.
Yeah. With the prank. He's like, you better get to the game
on time. You're too old for this. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to our top 5, guys. Get up out of here. I want to watch the second half of this Laker game. So let's get this top 5 going. Let's start with Dupree. Actually, let's start here. Top 5 from Elite Monster Adventures. Got the Eagles number 1. Whoa. Got the Lions number 2. Got the Bills number 3. Ravens number 4, and got the Chiefs number 5.
That's all right. That's interesting.
A different list there.
Yeah. Dupree, what do you got?
What do you got, Dupree?
I still got the Vikings up at number 1.
Oh,
Detroit 2.
Start over.
You do realize they just beat them, right?
They're still up there.
Okay.
All right.
Who has beat them though? But who has beat them?
We're talking Dupree right now. We're talking Dupree right now. Go ahead, Dupree. Have your moment. Go ahead. Number 1 is the Browns. Okay.
I didn't say the Browns. I'm not gonna say the Browns. Okay.
Number 2 is the New York Giants.
Not
we're not the Panthers.
Not the worst teams, Dupree. Let's start all over. Okay, go ahead. Number 1.
Do with the worst teams. I didn't even say the worst teams. I said the Vikings. I said the Lions, who are still been the top 2 teams right now.
Okay.
If I go for number 3, I'll go with the Bills. The Bills are still up there.
Bills number 3. Okay.
I'll do Bills number 3.
All right. Number 4.
4 is a hard one.
It's not.
4 is a hard one.
It's not though.
Not really. Not at all.
Or I'll give it to the Eagles.
Okay. Thank you for the love.
I mean, still delusional, but okay. Who do you got at number 5?
Because they're gonna like my list anyway. And then even though I still hate them, and I still always will hate them because they have the refs on their side, the Chiefs.
Chiefs number 5. Okay. All right. That's an interesting list. Go ahead, Mark. Hit us with the 5.
I don't even know what to say after that. That's
Oh
like,
God.
hold on, let me pick my five. Let's see, my five. I'm gonna go with Alabama Crimson Tide. Oh wait, sorry, they're not even in the NFL.
We're not talking college.
Yeah.
No, I've got
Top
I've
five
got the
power rankings, week 8. Who do you got?
Detroit Lions at number one. I've got number two. I'm actually gonna probably have to go with man. I don't know. I don't know.
Remember,
Hold on.
this is based on not this is who you think is the best top 5
So
after
far.
week 8. Not 5-0, 2-5, whatever.
Right.
Correct.
No, I'm going to say I've got the Lions at one. I've got I'm going to go with the Vikings at two. I'm going to go with the Packers at three. I'm going to say the Ravens at four. And oh man, who do I have at five? That's where it's the tough one. That's the tough one. Is where it gets into it. I'll just say the Chiefs. Chiefs
All
at
right.
five.
All right. All right. Yo, so it's my turn. I'm going to go with the
Yes.
Lions number 1, the Chiefs number 2. I'm going to go with the Ravens number 3, the Vikings number 4. Number 5 is very tricky because any of these teams could be number 5. So I'm going to put a tie at number 5, and everybody's in a tie with. I got Green Bay Packers, Bills, Texans, Commanders, Steelers, and Eagles at number 5.
Okay.
Any of those can be number 5 for me, right? This as of week 8. Next week it will change though.
Oh, it's definitely going to change. It's definitely going
No
to
question.
change.
Yeah. So that's what we got.
But yeah, no. So let's. That's all we got for tonight's show. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
back
thank
to
you guys.
doing some work and watching this. I don't even know. Yeah, I've been watching this freaking trying to figure out this whole how can. I mean, I guess I'm watching the Chiefs of the NBA when it comes to the Lakers.
Oh,
You
come
know,
on.
let LeBron push everybody off of them, and oh no, there's nothing there. Literally, just saw another foul, two more foul. I mean, yeah, this is pathetic. That's why, again, the NBA is nothing but actors, is all that it is. And I'll stick to college basketball. But no, that's what we got for tonight's show. So we appreciate y'all. Hop on here next week. And, hopefully we'll be catching the what's wrong with the Jets, Aaron Rodgers, and their new trade with Dante. What do they need to work out? Here's what they need to work out, and I will finish by saying this: they need to work out by getting rid of Aaron Rodgers. I personally, as a Packer fan, I watched Aaron Rodgers flourish. I watched him win only one Super Bowl his entire career with the Packers. The problem with Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. When they drafted Jordan Love, do I like Jordan Love? I'm not a believer on him yet. As a Packer fan, is he a good quarterback? No, he's probably going to be realistically. He's going to finish in the top 7 this year, in my opinion. And I think after this year is where I might become, where I'll become a believer. It's like, okay, this guy can be the future. They paid him though. To me, personally, I think they paid him too soon. I think they should have made him play this year and then give him that big contract.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But I think Aaron Rodgers' problem is Aaron Rodgers 100%. He wanted out of Green Bay because he didn't like, the coaching with Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur was staying there. He's already gotten Robert Saleh fired. He's had how many offensive coordinators in Green Bay that he got fired? The problem just is Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to
He
say.
got really cocky. Yeah, he got really cocky.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I will say this on record that Aaron Rodgers, even though they have a slow start, I believe they're 2-5, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So this is, I think this is the beginning. They moved Mike Williams out probably as a trade piece now. And they have Devontae Adams, Lazar, and Garrett Wilson as their trio now. They have a Bryce Hall who can run the football. It is going to get better. It was Devontae Adams' first game in New York in that system. Throughout the season, it will get better. I see them probably sneaking into a wild card spot, and then they're gonna, if they catch fire, they're gonna be dangerous in the playoffs. That's not a team you're gonna want to play in the playoffs because we can't discredit the defense. The defense is legit, right?
Oh yeah, you got Will McDonald, Javon Kinlaw, Quinion Williams, and also Hassan Reddick has reported as of yesterday.
Exactly, and let's not forget Sauce Gardner.
You got Sauce Gardner, plus you got C.J. Mosley at linebacker, along with Quincy Williams.
Yeah, so I'm telling you right now, let the offense catch fire towards the end of the season, sneak into a wild card spot, and don't be surprised if they end up in the semis to AFC Championship. I can see that happening. They'll sneak up on you and probably hit a couple, and then you'll probably see them playing against either the Ravens or the Chiefs this year.
Yeah, because their schedule out on the season, they play New England, Houston, Arizona, Indianapolis, bye week. Then they got Seahawks, Miami, Jacksonville, Los Angeles, Buffalo, and Miami. Exactly. They got nobody.
Yeah, so they have time to work on the mechanics. They got time to work out what they need to work out to gel. And they got hands now. Mike Williams, he dropped too many passes, you know what I mean, in these last games, and that's why he got replaced. So now that they got the hands, you're going to see a whole different. And now you can't just man up. You can't just man up. You're gonna have to scheme them now. You know, before you could just man up and hope for the best, but you know. Now with Devontae, you man up. You're getting burnt by somebody. You know what I mean?
Right.
Realistically, you're talking about a possible 10. What is that? 10-7. Yeah, 10-7. Even maybe even 11-6. Even if I don't think a 9-8 is going to make the playoffs. I don't.
No.
Yeah, for the AFC, you're going to have 10 wins. 10, you're in.
Yeah, I could see them winning.
But actually, they can get 10.
They can get 10.
With this schedule, they definitely can get 10.
I'm looking at it. They by looking at it, they should end up 10-7. Possibly they could even get 11-6 if they can go on a run right now and beat New England. They've got a tough game with Houston, but then they got Arizona, which should be a win. The Colts should be a win. Bye week, then they got Seattle, Miami, Jacksonville, Los Angeles. I mean, they can make a run of realistically like 8 wins straight.
They could probably lose to the Seahawks though too. So
I only see them lose to the Seahawks and the Bills. That's the only ones I really see.
And so losing. Well, see, if you're losing to those 3 teams, that puts them at 9-8.
Yeah, right. It'll be tricky. I just think they'll make the wild card spot. They're gonna make the wild card spot.
So, but no, that's what we got. We appreciate you all, and
like, subscribe, tell your friends about us, and
follow us on Facebook. We're gonna, so tomorrow, just so you guys know, we have not been to Facebook Live because Facebook has said you guys cannot go live anymore unless if you have X amount of followers. So please follow us. We have our boy Dupree. He's posting up on Instagram, which shares it on also the Facebook. And tomorrow we will post the replay on Facebook. So this way you guys can check out the replay if you can't, so it'll have the YouTube channel. So